Hey, this is Jules, and I'm your host of the Jules J Show. I'm your host, Jules of the Jules J Show. Thanks for tuning in. If you have not been to TrackCast's website, you can go to www.trackcast.com. You can check out all the artists. You can check out on my shows, our bios, things like that. So definitely take time to go see what everybody's doing. You can also catch us on YouTube. One Track Cats is our YouTube page. So let's go ahead and get into the topic of today. For today's discussion, we're going to talk about college dropout. We all either know somebody or it's ourselves that has started college, hasn't completed it. I know some people that never went to college, and it's just, each individual's own choice. But let's talk about some of the statistics that go along with individuals that have started the process but have not completed. One of the things is that a lot of times people drop out of college is because the high cost of tuition, and I can completely understand that. I started college right after high school. I was pregnant with my daughter, and it just got to the point where I had to figure out where my money was going to go. Was it going to go towards, my tuition and things of that nature? Or was I going to, have to, put that process on hold for a little bit so I can work full time, take care of my daughter, things of that nature? Obviously, I chose, to take care of my child and myself. Because at the same token, I understood that, yes, it was important to get that college education for the path that I wanted to go on that point in time in my life. But I had to make a tough decision. I was on my own. It was just me and her, things of that nature. So I had to make a tough choice. And, back then that was, quite a few years ago. So I can just imagine, that individuals that are just now getting out of high school and going back into education studies and furthering their education, how much it could be. I continued my education, my college education, probably about 2 years ago, and I wanted to go ahead and get back on that path and, complete that process. But the numbers are very astronomical. It's very expensive to continue your education and things of that nature. And for individuals that don't have a job, don't have the means, sometimes if you're using your parents' taxing, things of that nature, sometimes, you can't qualify for some of those grants and scholarships and things like that. So you are going to pay out of pocket, which, is going to be a burden. 56% of individuals will drop out of college. 56% of us will drop out of college. And when I say us, I mean us as a whole. And so that means that only 46 individuals that start the process will actually complete it. That's a really, really low number. And you look at it, you're always hearing about different colleges and things like that on the radio and the TV and, the internet and things like that. There's schools all over the place. There's, brick and mortar places, which is an actual school that you go to and take the classes. You have online classes. You have things like that. But only 46% will actually complete. Of the 46 who complete their degree, it will take an individual 6 years to complete a 4-year program, and it will take individuals 3 years to complete a 2-year program. And, it's just taking individuals longer because now, instead of being full-time college students, they actually have to be, college students. You kind of stretch out your classes because you still have to work. You still have to maintain yourself, your household, your kids, bills, whatever the case may be. So now you don't really see that traditional college student. A lot of times you hear, advertisements for adult studies, and that would be an individual like myself that, has a full-time career. I have a family that I have to tend to and things of that nature. So I can't, go to school Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from the morning to the afternoon and have my classes like that. There's just no way possible because I have to support, my family, and I have responsibilities as far as financially wise, and that is, more important at this point in time versus being able to not work and go to school. So, when you have to sit there and pick and choose which one is more important, each his own. But that is why it's taking people so long to complete that process, is because of, the other financial constraints that are upon them. According to the data collected by the Organization of Economic, Operational and Development, it reports that Japan has an 89% completion rate. So that means out of all the individuals that start college in Japan, 89% of those completed. They actually completed. So no wonder you see, so many individuals from that area excel, and they are getting the high price of the high dollar employment opportunities and things like that. Soviet bloc states like I think I'm saying this right, Slovakia has a 63% completion rate, and Poland has a 61%. Whereas America, we're the wealthiest country in the world, supposedly, but only 46% of us are actually completing the program. So, how are we able to contend with these other countries as far as innovation, jobs, education, things like that? There's no way that we compete because, right now Japan has almost doubled our completion rate. So how can we expect to compete with somebody that's actually double what we're doing? It's really, really hard. So, and that puts a lot of pressure on the individuals that are completing, because now they have to basically carry everybody else on their back that, does not have that piece of paper. Now, let me just clear this up. Not everybody is cut out for college. And I think us as parents, we need to be able to identify and recognize, certain attributes in our kids. Not everybody can go to school to be a doctor. Not everybody can go to school to be a lawyer. Not everybody can go to school to, be these different type of, celebrity and high priced or high dollar amount career opportunities, because not everybody is structured the same way. If your child is one of those type of individuals that, college is not for them, and they might have, better luck and more success in a trade school, something that deals with certification and things like that, then you have to nurture that. You can't push somebody or your child down a path because that's what you want them to do. You have to understand who they are as an individual, what interests them, what areas that they actually excel at, and then you have to nurture that as a parent. I have a child, my oldest child, she's just not college material. She does not want to go to a 4-year college. She would like to do her own, own her own business, and that's fine if that's what she wants to do. There are certain certifications that she's going to have. Yes, she will take business classes, but I see her more of taking a 2-year program, getting her certifications, and being able to open up her own business in that manner. And I will support her 100% because she's still doing something positive. She's still getting her education, and she's basically being able to self-sustain herself. And that's what we want, or that's what we should all want our kids to have, is being able to take care of themselves, be positive, productive individuals. So parents, be mindful when you start pushing your children down a path. And not only that, if you keep pushing them down a path that's really not made for them, and they have to take out student loans and things like that, basically that's going to be a waste of money, because, if they're not passionate about it, they probably won't complete it. So you have to be mindful of that. The cost of college is constantly rising. It has actually sextupled since 1985. And we need to come up with a new word, because sextuple just reminds me of something completely different versus a number. So we have to understand that how much college tuition has increased since 1985, but we have to keep in mind that minimum wage is only at $7.25. So how is an individual supposed to, pay for college without getting the student loans to cover the cost of tuition, but they only make $7.25? Yes, there's grants out there. Yes, there's different scholarships out there, things like that, but we have to take into consideration not everybody's going to qualify for that. So for the individuals that don't qualify for that free money, what do? They take out student loans. That's just the reality of it. That's what ends up happening. And then their debt is so astronomical once, they finished or they dropped out. They still have to pay that money back, but they don't have a degree to show for it. So, you have to definitely make sure that the path that you're going on is something that you really, really want to do, and you see yourself doing that long term. In 2011, Americans surpassed the $1 trillion mark for total student loan debt. So basically, every American that has a student loan debt, they put all that number together, and we passed the 1 trillion mark, because I'm in that group, because I do have, student debt. So $1 trillion for student loans, that is crazy. I just don't understand why, you know, it has to be so much, and, you know, interest rates and things like that. But, you know, if they opened up jobs here for us Americans instead of outsourcing them, I think I've said that in the show before, and basically we're able to filter the funds back into our community, I don't think that the cost of, you know, getting an American education and keeping that education here should be that much. You know, I really feel that if America would invest in their citizens would invest right back versus going overseas to getting jobs and things like that, because the dollar amount is so much greater over there. America needs to start paying Americans what they're worth, and then we can start contributing more and building this, you know, country back up to where it should be. As many as 25% of individuals in default for their student loans, and many more of them are seeking like debt relief and loan consolidation and things like that. So that is a huge number as well, that so many are trying to, you know, figure out a way how can they minimize their debt and things like that. Not only that, you have 25% that are actually, you know, not even on time with their debt. And that's the one thing that you have to understand. If you owe the federal government any type of money, and student loans is one of those federal government monies or loans, and you owe them and you're not paying, don't think you could get a house or anything like that, because it would severely affect your credit. So when you are doing your budget and things like that, make sure you factor in that student loan. Make sure that you're paying it. And if you need to make arrangements, then you definitely need to call your student loan provider and see how you can work that out. Because I can guarantee you that anytime you owe the federal government money and you're not paying, they're going to eventually take it. Whether it's your taxes, whether you want to purchase a home and you're not going to be able to because you're in default, things of that nature. And not only that, your credit score. It will affect your credit score tremendously. And if you don't know about your credit score, you definitely need to go ahead and work that out, because it affects everything. Your insurance, you know, other loans, percentage rates, things like that. So, but that's a different show. Factors that contribute to individuals dropping out. And I got this from Reuters.com. The cost of tuition, number one. Family, jobs. If you have a family, or, you know, you gain a family while you're in school, you have to work to support them. So therefore you have to choose, am I going to get an education, or am I going to, you know, take care of my responsibilities? A lot of times individuals are not prepared for the work that entails when you go off to college. You know, a lot of times in high school, you know, you have a close knit community, teachers, family, and they pretty much are there on top of you, making sure you get things done, things like that. When you are in college, you are completely on your own. And, you know, some people just can't handle that college life. You know, they're free now. They're not underneath their parents' roof some of the time. And, you know, they just can't handle the responsibilities of maintaining their education and still having a social life. So sometimes they just can't handle that college life. Another couple things that we need to recognize. Most of college dropouts are males. They are less likely to pursue careers with like lawyers, doctors, architects, things like that. In 2010, the student loan debt exceeded credit card debt for the first time in history. So basically throughout history, the number one debt for individuals, consumers, was credit card debt. It is no longer that way. It is now student debt. And I think that is a huge shift. Everybody has credit cards. Hey, when I first went into college, I was solicited. Don't ask me how they got my information, but they were soliciting me different credit cards left and right. And of course, like me, I signed up for one. Oh, I got credit, yada, yada, yada. People couldn't handle it. But now it's crazy that your student loan debt is actually exceeded that. And I think that's something that we really kind of need to take a step back in. I think the government system needs to figure out a way to offer us loans and things like that at a much less percentage rates. Things of that nature. Definitely needs to open up more scholarships, grants, and things like that. I think that just needs to be more accessible, because when I was going through high school and coming up my senior year, I don't remember anybody sitting there telling me about different scholarships and grants and things like that. Any grant or scholarship that I've ever received, I had to research it on my own. Well, a lot of times people may not be that proactive. So if you're not a proactive individual and you're just going to basically, hey, let me sign a loan. It's quick money. Let's keep it moving. So kind of be mindful of that. Individuals without a college degree are 2 times more likely to be unemployed. And I would have to say with the, recession, I'm not sure if I can really agree with that. Yeah, I believe that, college degree people are definitely looking for more individuals that have a college education. But, with the recession, I knew MBAs that were unemployed, lawyers that were unemployed, things of that nature. So I think we definitely have to keep that in mind that, with everybody hitting on hard times, it affected everybody across the board. Let me give you some numbers that I pulled from the National Center for Education Statistics. And this basically is showing the difference between how much somebody with a college degree can earn versus somebody without a college degree. If you have less than a high school education, whether it's a GED or a high school diploma, on average, you're going to earn about $23,000 a year. For a bachelor's degree, you're going to average earn about $45,000 a year. And a master's degree or higher, you're going to earn roughly about $59,000. And this is just average. Some people are a lot higher, some people are a lot less. Whatever the case may be. Yes, those numbers are there. But I think for individuals, if college is not the way to go for you, I think you definitely have to figure out what it is that you really want to do, and you have to give it your 100%. You have to really excel at it. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, be the best entrepreneur that you can be. If you're going to be a bus driver, be the best bus driver that you can be. If you're going to be a chef, be that best chef where everybody is wanting your catering service and things like that. I think that is everybody has their own niche, and you have to find it. And then when you find it, you have to excel at it. If your niche calls for a degree, then go get your degree. If your niche does not call for a degree, then put every effort that you have to be the best that you're, whatever profession that you choose to be at. Yes, the college dropout rate is a very, very high number, but I think we really need to start taking into consideration, IT industry. They have certifications. You can go to, culinary school, art school, things of that nature. I think we just need to figure out what it is that individuals excel at, and take it to a whole new level and set a precedent for individuals coming up through behind you. So once again, that's Jules from the Jules J Show. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely reach out to me, and I look forward to hearing from you.